So children, till now what we have done in crop production? First of all, we studied about what agriculture is, then how man came to the process of agriculture. Then we studied about requirements for the agriculture. Then we studied about farming practices like soil preparation. Then what comes under soil preparation? Plowing is there, leveling is there, manuring is there. Then we studied about sowing of seeds through broadcasting, seed drill and transplantation, and then followed by the irrigation process. Again we studied irrigation in detail, furrow irrigation, basin irrigation, sprinkler irrigation. Then we studied about weeding, the names of weeds, the name of weedicides, followed by the crop protection from pest and other factors that would destroy the crop. And then we went for the harvesting also. Now in harvesting we studied how we can harvest using a sickle and a machine. And then we studied about threshing, that is removing of grains. And in the after removing the grains from the crop plant, we studied about winnowing, that is removing of the chaff also. And then the very important step was the storage step, in which we studied about godowns, the buffer stock, and why we are going to store the food for the future use. Very good. Okay, now we are going to study about types of crops. Now we are going to study about types of crops. So after those questions, what I just taught you, we have different types of crops and then types of crops. It's a huge difference between them, children. I'll be dealing with both now. Now there are two main types of crops in our country based on their seasonal growth. Important word, seasonal growth. Suppose the question comes, what are the types of crops? Then you can say there are many types of crops. Means cereals are there, pulses are there, oils are there, fruits are there. These are the crops only, isn't it? Spices are there. Then tea, coffee, we call them as beverage, isn't it? But when the question comes, what are the types of crops based on the seasonal growth? The answer is only two types. One is kharif crops and one is rabi crops. Clear, children? One is kharif crops and one is rabi crops. Clear? Yes. So kharif crops, they are grown in the season of monsoon. Monsoon means when rains come. June, July. We grow them in June and July. They need lots and lots of water, so they become mature after this season, after monsoon, and they are harvested in Diwali, near Diwali, that is in September or October. So example, now remember it like this: which plant needs more water? Answer is rice, isn't it? Okay, answer is rice. So rice is a kharif crop. Kharif crops. Kha, rara, fafa, kharif. Rara, kha, varkha, kharif. Write it in Punjabi. Kharif. Below write var, kha, rara, te kha. It comes in kharif, means varkha rut diyan fasalan. Clear, children? You will never forget in your life. And what else you eat the most in this season is, yes, that is your corn. Charcoal burnt corn. Charcoal burnt corn means bhutta. You eat bhutta, isn't it? So bhutta again is a kharif crop. We grow them, we find them in this season. Okay, children? Okay, very good. Then comes your rabi crops. Now rabi crops, they are sown at the beginning of the winter. They do not need plenty of water. They are to be harvested in March or April. So what is the example? So winter season, whatever you eat in winter season, is your rabi crops. Okay. Your example is wheat. Your example is gram, green gram. You get these days hara cholua, isn't it? You eat those, na? Green gram, then peas, hare matar. You eat them, then you get sarson ka saag, mustard. Clear, children? So all these things which you eat in this season, okay, they are harvested by March. Till March you harvest them till March. Clear? Got it? So here you get here the opposite of what we used to study, makki di roti te sarson da saag. So you will replace it. Ravi eats makki di roti thaan te Ravi eats kanak di roti with sarson da saag. Clear, children? So you will remember whole life. Ravi means rabi. Wheat is kanak. Sarson saag is mustard. So you have learnt to, yes, wheat and mustard. Very good. So children, what we learned, that kharif crops are the crops which are grown in the starting of the monsoon, harvested in October. And rabi crops, they are grown in the beginning of the winter and they are harvested in March. Okay. So Ravi gets his result in March. Okay. Learned it. Ravi gets his result in March. Just remember this line and yes, you will be able to get the result in March only. Isn't it? And then the crops I have already told you. Wheat is there, green peas are there, then green grams are there. Okay. Then mustard is there. Okay. Vegetables, you know all the vegetables which you eat in winters. What? Carrot is there. Radish is there. Isn't it? And what about kharif crops? Kharif crops, you have already learned it. What are those? Rice is there. Your corn, bhutta. C-O-R-N, corn. Do you remember corn? Yes. Very good. Okay, rest you can do that one. Is it clear? If you want more examples for kharif and rabi crops, just comment me and you'll have the whole list along with the titty trick. Okay. Another topic here is crop improvement. Now, beta, we find that the population is increasing day by day and the land available is very, very compact. That is, land is not increasing. Is it increasing? No, na. Land is becoming less and less. Then, available land is not sufficient to grow enough grains to complete the requirement of all the people. So, we need to grow more food on the available land. That means on the same land which is being available to us, we need to grow more food. So how can we do that? That means how can we get more food in less area? So to increase the production, suppose what we have to do is selection and use of improved varieties of what? Of seeds. Hybrid and good variety of seeds. Then improvement of soil. That means when we are growing again and again and again, the soil gets depleted of nutrients. So check the soil for its nutrient value. Then protecting plants from pests and weeds. That means we should not allow these pests or these weeds to destroy our crops. Of course, the last and very important, control of plant diseases also. Next topic is selection and use of improved varieties. A single plant variety cannot have all the desired qualities. So to obtain healthy plant variety, most of the best characteristics are brought all together in a single plant variety, and this is called hybridization. Very, very important from examination point of view. First of all, you will learn the spellings of hybridization. Most of the children just don't know the spellings also. Now, what is hybridization? It is a process in which two or more different good varieties, they are crossed to obtain desirable characteristics. These are called hybrid varieties. Suppose a plant is short. What is disease resistance? Disease resistance means it is not easily attacked by the microorganism, or it does not get disease. Okay, but the plant is very short, it is not able to get that harvest is less. Another plant, the harvest is very good, but its disease resistance is not good. So we are going to take half part of the first plant and the other half part of the second plant. That means root of one of the plant and shoot of one of the plant. Okay, root means the lower part and shoot means the upper part, and then we are going to join them together with some root hormones, and then that is called as crossed. And then what the product which we are going to obtain from this type of a plant crossing is called as a hybrid variety, and this process is called as hybridization. Clear, children? Now the agriculture scientists, they called plant breeders continuously. What are plant breeders? Scientists related to agriculture. So it is called agricultural scientists are called plant breeders. They continuously they are doing experiment to get the desired crops, the crops of high quality. They are continuously improving and improving. Now some hybrid varieties of wheat are Lerma Rojo 64, Sonaro 64, Kalyan Sona, and of course your Hira Moti. Did you remember this? Very good. One more question. Name the hybrid varieties of wheat. The answer is Hira Moti beated Kalyan Sona. Hira Moti beated Kalyan Sona. And Sona became Sonaro 64. Sona became Sonaro 64. Is it clear, children? Okay. So hybrid varieties of rice are Padma Jaya Pusa 205 and IR 8. What is this IR? Abbreviation for Indian rice 8. Don't write Indian rice 8. I am just speaking to learn it. IR 8, Pusa 205, Padma and Jaya both are the sisters. Padma and Jaya both sisters live at Pusa 205. Clear, children? I hope you are able to learn it. Jaya and Padma, two sisters, live at Pusa 205. Okay, good. Now how to learn IR? Arey bhai, IR, you are in 8th standard. I means you. I am in 8th standard. I are in 8th standard. Okay. Okay. Then is your improvement of soil. Of course, you have to improve the soil. Without improving the soil, you are getting the crops year after year, then you are spoiling the crop, na? So you need to improve the soil. How are you going to improve it? Long question, 3 marks question है ये. Field fallow, mixed farming, crop rotation. That is all. Field fallow. This means we do not cultivate anything, we do not grow anything on the field for complete one season. It is called field fallow. If we are not growing anything, what will happen? Yes, microbes will grow, humus will grow, then the soil will be enriched back. Okay, then comes your mixed farming. Khichdi bana do. Means grow more than 2 or 2 different crop varieties in the field at the same time, same field. So it is also called as double cropping, multiple cropping. The advantage is that 2 crops can be grown at the same time with the same labor. Okay. At less labor you can harvest them also, na? Very good. Then comes your crop rotation. Okay, children, let me explain you mixed farming. Now if we are growing wheat and gram together, when you grow wheat and gram, now gram or any pulse, it can be your moong dal, any pulses will fix nitrogen from the atmosphere and will put in the field. Wheat will take this nitrogen and will grow. So one cycle is completed. What? That the wheat is taking nitrogen from the soil, isn't it? But soil is not getting nitrogen depleted because that gram is putting the nitrogen from the atmosphere to the soil. Is it clear? So this is how mixed farming is being beneficial. It improves the soil. Clear? Crop rotation. This means you grow different crops in the same field after fixed interval of time. For example, first you grow wheat, cut it, then you grow pulse. Pulse means any dal is there, any cereal is there, any gram is there, black gram, groundnut, hai na? Then you cut it, then you again grow wheat, then you cut it, then you again grow peas and rajma and black gram, then you cut it, okay? Wheat will take nitrogen and these beans and rajma, they will put nitrogen back to the soil. So these crops help to replenish, vapas dalna, the nitrogen content of the soil. The roots of these leguminous crops means which crops are called leguminous? The one which can put nitrogen back to the soil. They are called leguminous crops. They have rhizobium bacteria that help to convert free nitrogen into useful nitrogenous compounds in the soil. This process is called nitrogen fixation. So crop rotation, very important question from examination point of view. The question comes out to be, name the bacteria that fixes nitrogen. Answer is rhizobium. What is nitrogen fixation? Again the answer is yes, rhizobium bacteria that helps to convert free nitrogen into useful nitrogenous compounds and put them in the soil. It is known as nitrogen fixation. Fix karna. Protecting plants from pests and weeds, we have already studied this. That to harvest healthy crops, we should protect them. Then control of plant diseases, very very important. Check regularly, keep a check on the crops regularly. Okay. So basically the chapter comes to an end with the following. Only one of the topic is left, children. Green Revolution. You have studied in history also. Now Green Revolution is very important because the current production of crop is not increasing with the same rate as the rate of population growth in the country. The population of our country is growing day by day, but the production of crop is not growing. So we need Green Revolution. Now your question is, after independence, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan and B.P. Pal initiated Green Revolution. They imported dwarf seeds of the Lama Rosa 64 and Sonaro 64 variety 1966. Imported means they brought it from other country. Why dwarf? So that the height is less but the crop is more. The Green Revolution started during the year 1966, 67 and 78. And it resulted in record grain production of approximately 132 million tons. Okay, so it is very successful in India and no other country has gained so much success with this revolution. Because of its success, India became an exporter of food grains in addition to fulfilling our country's requirement. So Now, so we are having white revolution also. That means production of milk. Silver revolution is there. Yellow, golden revolution is there. So many revolutions are there. Whenever we get time, I'll pin up all these things in my one of the videos in future, and you'll be able to have a little bit of knowledge regarding that also. Then comes the nitrogen cycle. Another important question, beta. The nitrogen cycle in nature, you're going to learn it with the diagram on page number 12. So atmosphere of our earth contains about 78% of nitrogen. It is the most abundant matlab sabse zyada of all the gases present in the air. So nitrogen is essential for many biological process. Biological process means the process which are carried by living organisms. Okay. So it is most important part of proteins. I hope you know the formula for protein also, children. So nitrogen cycle is one of the nature cycle which is very, very important for the environment. Nitrogen moves slowly through the cycle and is stored in atmosphere, in soil, in oceans, yes, and in human beings also. We are having nitrogen because our cells are made up of, yes, can anyone tell? Our cells are made up of. So this is a big homework for you people. Approximately 80% of the molecules of nitrogen in Earth's atmosphere are made up of two nitrogen atoms bonded together. You can, for this bond creation or making of bond, you can refer to one of my video. You have also learned in 7th standard the formation of bond. Okay, and if you are not able to get this video, you just give a comment. I'll send you the link. The molecules of nitrogen in the atmosphere can become usable for living things when they are broken apart when lightning strikes by certain types of bacteria or bacteria associated with the legume plants. This means now we know that 78% of the atmosphere we have 78% what? Nitrogen. Can we use them directly? No, we cannot use them. So that is not in a usable form. Okay. So then usable form for living beings when it is broken up. Why broken up, beta? Because nitrogen do not exist as N. It exists as N2. N2. So it has to be broken up to be used up. So who will break? Various processes will break. One of them is lightning. Clear to you? Clear? When certain types of bacteria and all those things, they enact in the atmosphere. Now where does these bacteria, where are they found? Earlier also I have explained they are found in the roots of the leguminous plants. Okay, nodules. We call it as a nodules. Animals get the nitrogen they need by consuming these plants or other animals. Is it clear? When organisms die, their dead bodies decomposes, bringing the nitrogen back into the soil on land or into the ocean. Wherever the dead body goes, if it goes in the ocean, nitrogen goes in the ocean. If it goes in the soil, nitrogen goes in the soil. So nitrates are the common form of nitrogen which are used by plants. 1 mark question. Name the form in which nitrogen is used by plants. Answer is nitrates. Okay. Now the process which are involved in the cycle of nitrogen is number 1. First of all, nitrogen fixation means 78% is in the atmosphere. We have to fix it. Okay. So what fixes? Nitrogen fixation. What fixes? Yes, fixation occurs when lightning strikes, but most fixation is also done by the bacteria named as rhizobium bacteria. These bacteria have the nitrogenous enzyme that combines gaseous nitrogen with hydrogen to produce ammonia, NH4, which is further converted to make other compounds. Then after that, another process is assimilation. Now what is assimilation? Then comes assimilation. In plants, some nitrogen is assimilated. Assimilated means, yes, to get together, katha hona, in the form of ammonium ions from the nodules of the roots. Means these days, children, we are having gram, hara cholwa. When you take that plant, you will find that small round circular formation. They are called as nodules. It is found in the roots only. Okay, it is in this roots that rhizobium lives. Okay, clear? Now all plants, however, they can absorb nitrates from the soil by their root hairs. So these are then reduced to nitrite ions and then ammonium ions for the incorporation into the proteins. Incorporation means mix hona. So nitrates टूट जाएंगे, रिड्यूस हो जाएंगे इन नाइट्राइट आयंस में. नाइट्राइट आयंस क्या होंगे? फर्दर दे विल ब्रेक अप इन अमोनियम आयंस. देन they will do? Get together and they will form protein, and this protein, it is eaten by plants and this is eaten by man and animals. Okay, clear to you? Next is ammonification. The most common form of nitrogen used by plants is nitrate, which in turn is consumed by the animals for the use to form proteins. Proteins? Yes. The dead bodies of animals are again decomposed back into the soil. So this process in which nitrogen is what it is done? Yes, this nitrogen is consumed by animals and formation of proteins. It is called as ammonification. Nitrification. Now what is nitrification? Ammonia is converted to nitrates primarily by soil living bacteria. The oxidation of ammonia is performed by the bacteria. The name of the bacteria is Nitrosomonas species, which convert into ammonia to nitrites. They convert ammonia to nitrites. Earlier what happened? Earlier nitrogen used by plants, that was nitrate. Okay, and it was consumed by the animals and formation of protein, that is ammonification. Now this ammonia is converted to nitrates. Can you understand? This ammonia is converted to nitrates and this process is known as nitrification. Clear, children? This process is known as nitrification. Now it is the process. Now this nitrates is again reduced, means it is again broken out to give out nitrogen gas. This gas goes back to the atmosphere, completing the nitrogen cycle. Bacteria are also involved in the denitrification process and returning it into the atmosphere. Denitrification is the process of reduction of nitrates so that they get back into the nitrogen gas, completing the nitrogen cycle. Clear, children? So bacteria, they are again involved in denitrification. So nitrogen cycle is one of the important cycles in nature and is essential for the environment. With this we finish the chapter. So nitrogen cycle is one of the most important cycle in nature and is essential for the environment. So denitrification. What is denitrification? Simple answer. It is the process of reduction of nitrates. And what happens to them? They go back into the atmosphere in the form of a nitrogen gas and hence completes the nitrogen cycle. Now changing of nitrates into nitrogen gas, again bacteria does this work, and this process is called as denitrification. Okay children, so you will be having the back exercises done, and those children who have finished up the back exercises after doing this chapter will just comment me. I'll be giving you up the right answers for that, followed up with the worksheet also. So do subscribe this channel, like this channel, and share it. Learn more and get more marks. Bye bye.